Cornbread, what stinking world are you living in, dude?
I
mean, for real, what world are you living in?
Zach Brown.
Look at all the crap in his beard.
That's shawarma sauce.
He comes on here week after week
and don't know nothing.
Mispronouncing words. Look at this.
Look, he's making jokes.
That is nasty, Bubba.
He's making jokes on a serious podcast. That's what he's doing.
Gosh, Cornbread.
Zach Brown chicken fried.
Yeah, we were talking about who's the guy that sings Something in the Orange?
Zach Bryan.
I've never heard of him.
You just got on Corn for living under a rock, and you just asked the same question he did.
No, I asked him what world he's living in.
Not with Zach Bryan, that's for sure.
Zach Bryan's got a bunch of good music, man.
He's supposed to be a pretty shady character, that Zach Bryan.
You think so?
Yeah, always getting drunk and wanting to fight people and going
you can't
crazy.
do that. Yeah, there you go.
Who does he think he is? Some Johnny Cash?
There's a lot of, for some reason, the music people they're kind of out there, have been. Like you were talking about, you were playing the Eric Clapton tune yesterday. He was a heroin addict.
Tears in Heaven.
You know?
Sunshine of My Love.
And I've been listening to Money for Nothing.
Dire Straits.
Dire Straits.
Talk about an evil tune.
That guy. No, you know the story behind that song?
Yeah.
I forget the what's the lead singer's the guitarist. He's an unbelievable guitarist. He plays with his fingers, but he plays that riff that he plays in the opening of that song is off the charts, dude.
Yeah.
But he finger picks, and he's just an unbelievable guitar player. But that song, Money for Nothing, apparently he was in like a department store, and he was listening to these workers. They were standing there in front of TVs, and the TVs that were for sale. Like you remember going into stores and when they'd have all the TVs and like they'd be playing.
Yeah.
Dude, stuff has changed so much. But he was watching these TV players. Chad likes Dookie sandwiches. That's real nice, whoever wrote that. Chad likes Dookie sandwiches. Thank y'all. He was listening to these guys have a conversation, and that's where the lyrics from that song. He got a notepad and started writing down what they were saying. It's a great song. It really is.
Yeah, I like it.
Don't he say something about your little faggot with your earrings and your makeup?
Yeah.
And you got your airplane or something?
Who said that? Someone in the department store?
I don't know about that. I think
Yeah. Basically, these guys are complaining. These guys are watching these rock stars on MTV, and they're complaining that here are these guys, they don't have to work. They get paid all this money, and they're not really doing any work. You know, you might get a blister on your finger or a blister on your thumb or something, but, you know, I thought it was cool, the story behind that song.
Refrigerators and your microwaves and your color TVs.
Yeah.
But that riff that he plays, I wish I could play it on here, but they will demonetize this whole video if I play it.
That wouldn't, would they, Chili?
But
I don't know.
But
Probably.
he plays that in Eric Clapton plays in that song with him.
Oh, does he?
He's also Eric Clapton is like,
Oh, yeah.
I forget, he was voted like the number 2 or in the top 5 guitar players in the world.
Yeah, he was good.
Where was I going with all that? Who wrote that on the board? Chad likes Dookie sandwiches.
I was here when I came in.
Well, it wasn't Corn. That's not Corn's handwriting. You see my handwriting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Whose handwriting is that?
Hey, Dad,
Probably one of Blake's kin.
my kids don't write that neat.
That wasn't me.
Caitlin. That's
who
who it was.
was.
Because she was giving me crap last night because apparently we have to work on Thursday, and I had no idea that we were working on Thursday, and so she really just got a kick out of that. So She texted me last night, hey, you know you got to work on Thursday night, and sends me that Mimi.
Ma'am.
Oh,
Whoa, cuz.
Yeah.
rough one.
She said last night, well, Chad was getting so mad. Chad made plans.
Well, he's made plans for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going on vacation next week.
Again.
I'm not going on vacation. That's a work hunt.
That's all he
guys
does.
kidding me?
It's literally all he does is vacation anymore.
Do you
We
guys
finished Matthew without you. Like
did
you don't
you guys
even
finish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're starting Acts.
Well, we decided we was gonna go to Ruth. Are you scoffing at the book of Ruth? Like it's of any less value. It's in the Bible.
Oh my God.
Ruth or Philemon.
I'm hanging on by a thread over here, man, because I'm the only one these days that will go out. I'm the only one these days that will go out. So what happens is you guys support me so that I can go out and then come back and have stories.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So every time I go out, it's for work. Okay? No matter what I'm doing.
You ought to have stories from this one.
There is something odd about there's something that I strangely like about going out though. Because a lot of people have asked me over the years if I miss being in the military. And there are strange moments that I have that I do miss it. Because it's a really weird life. Because you're all the time going to all kinds of different places, weird places, all these places that you've never been before. You're traveling at all sorts of odd hours and on these weird aircraft, and you don't even know who's this and who's that, and it's just weird. And sometimes when I do go out and travel, especially when I'm by myself, and things get delayed, and I'm out all night and trying to get where I'm going, it reminds me just a very little bit of being in the military. It's strange. I was telling that to Brooke last night. I was like, I kind of do miss parts of that, just very little parts of that sometimes. And she said, well, let's go out and let's go out and do some cool stuff again then. And I'm like, no, you can't replicate it. You can't replicate it.
You can't go out with the intention. It has to be forced, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It has to be forced. There has to be some pressure or danger or urgency involved with it. Like you can't replicate it. It's you guys that have served in the military, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I did go out. I've been gone for the last 2 days. We're going to the book of Acts in Monday meeting. Okay? That starts this Monday. So you guys have homework, all right? Monday, I want somebody to set us up for the book of Acts. I want to know some context around it. I want to know who wrote it. I want you guys to set the stage for us to roll in to the book of Acts, all right? So we're not going to...
I got to work this weekend, bub.
What?
Yeah. I got to work Friday and Saturday.
And he's got a birthday party.
Okay.
And we got to work tomorrow.
Okay, well you've got all evening this evening, and you've got all morning tomorrow morning.
I'll be working this evening.
He's got to work tomorrow morning.
What's happening?
I got to go get the vans too.
What he pipe back up for?
I don't know what world he's living in. We're not going to jump right into the text. I need you guys to set the stage and the context for the book that we're about to get into Monday morning, all right? Lo and behold, I've been to Texas again. And Look, it seems like I go to Texas 5 to 10 times a year.
Seriously.
Seems like I'm always in Texas, okay? I don't know how many times I've been this year so far. Probably 3, 4, something like that. And I've always hated Texas because I've never understood what Texas is all about. But this past weekend, I was in Fort Worth, and it finally clicked in my mind what Texas is all about. And buddy, I like it. All right? It just had to click with me. And Texans, I apologize for, debasing your state for so long and talking about how flat and hot and nasty and ugly it is. It's just an ugly, terrible state. I apologize for the bad things I've said about Texas because nobody ever told me what it was all about. And I guess you just have to figure it out on your own. But what Texas is, it's all about doing everything real big. Like bigger than anywhere else. If you're going to do it in Texas, you're going to do it big. Now, you got to have some money to live around there. I've realized that, too.
Oh, they got money.
There is not a lot of poors in Texas. These folks, even the country folks, they've got money because they're doing it big. You got to live there. You got to have money. And when you live there, you do it big, everything. From your clothing to your vehicle to your house to your hat, everything, to your food, everything is bigger. And I realized that, and I said, you know what? I got money, and I like doing things big. This is my spot. When that clicked with me, and I bought a lot of money worth of stuff. and I was actually driving to the airport, and my flight, and I'm going to back up here in a minute. My flight had got delayed. I was driving to the airport, and I passed a Range Rover and a Porsche dealership. And I'm not kidding you. I almost stopped and bought a Range Rover or a Porsche.
You thought about it.
To drive home.
You should have.
It was like when that mindset hit with me, I said, screw this, man. You got to live life big. And I almost pulled up in there. And I'm texting my guys here while I'm realizing this, while this is hitting me. And this joker and this joker were getting so ticked off because they are small-minded.
Pea brains.
Pea brains. These two right here are pea brains. They were getting so mad. I know you understood everything I was saying.
Well, yeah. I've been trying to tell you. We literally work with two dolts.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Dim-headed dolts who go, we've always done it like this. What about what we've done? What about this?
Yeah.
It's big enough.
Yeah, big enough. Yeah.
Yeah, enough.
Yeah.
We're in Georgia. Where we
Yeah,
do
but
it small.
it doesn't mean that we can't bring that same mindset here.
What, just throwing money away? Oh,
No.
I think I might get a Porsche, or I'm gonna eat a $72 brisket.
It's not about.
Hey, where's the most expensive boot store at? That's where I'm gonna go.
It's really not about throwing money away. It's about doing things big, Bubba.
You can do things big other than spending money. It don't take money to go big.
As a matter of fact, it does.
No, it
unfortunately.
No, it don't.
I'm sorry, but it does.
Lest I remind you, he's had this mindset for a long time. Remember when you crapped all over his Christmas bash?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was thinking
And
about
he
doing
has
it big.
said he wasn't going to do the Christmas bash.
Yeah, because everybody
Everybody
flaked
just crapped
out.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have other people around you to do stuff big that are willing to do it big too. That's why you're holding us back.
Yes.
I ain't riding in now Porsche, I'll tell you that right now.
ain't near big enough, is it?
Well, all I'm gonna tell y'all is if y'all send me back to Texas, you better come to chaperone me, because now that this has clicked with me, I have a feeling this is gonna. Every time I go back there, it's gonna get worse and worse.
It's gonna get bigger and bigger.
It's gonna get bigger and bigger. So I'm just warning y'all.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
So they sent me out to Texas to do a speaking engagement with a really cool group of people. The Cattlemen's Feed Association.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know if that's the full name of it. Do not try to fly right now. Okay. Okay. Somebody talk to me about this government shutdown. Okay, what's going on with this?
I don't know the
It's
exact.
all you, bub.
I don't know the exact details on what the left's wanting and what the right's wanting, and they're not meeting in the middle to say, okay, you got this and we get this and we'll open it back up. I don't know the details.
Look,
on
it's all just a scam scheme. They've done this on purpose for some other reason. They ain't not agreed on something.
Well, government shutdowns are wild. The last one was in 2018 to 2019, right? It was the
I was in the military. I remember I was in the military when the government shut down.
the last one was then, and that was the longest one ever.
35 days.
35 days. It's a long time. This one's reached 15 days, something like that.
Yeah, today might be 16.
Okay, so it's about halfway there almost. It may set the record. I mean, I think
possibly.
there's no end in sight right now. You know, basically what a government shutdown is when the budget has maxed out.
Yeah.
And like you have to basically the government has to pass new legislation, I guess you'd call it, to increase the budget. They have to agree on an increase, or else they've capped it. They've hit it, right?
Yeah.
So we're going further into debt and spending more money, and they've not agreed on what the increase is and the excess. I mean, is that I'm not explaining it well, but
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. So then when that happens, basically they're like, well, we're out of money. We've not allocated these funds. We've not agreed to just go into more debt or whatever. So it's shut down, but it's not really shut down because some government employees are still working.
Yeah.
The USPS still operates because it's an independent. I mean, it's the government, but it's not. And then some government employees just go home and some don't. It's odd.
I'm assuming the IRS is still up and running.
Oh, well, they will be during tax time.
Yeah, during tax time. There's a lot. There's a lot of their, offices that are shut down that aren't doing certain things.
Well, I was just wondering, since the government is shut down right now and they're not working, I was wondering if we're tax exempt for that period of days.
Oh, no.
You should be able to prorate your taxes.
Yeah, that they're not working.
You are not.
Yeah.
Is that
taxes for things that ain't even happening?
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yep. That ain't happening. They still want it on a daily.
And if you work, I do know a little bit about the inside look at why they're not agreeing and what they're not agreeing on. You're told some of this stuff. I'm not saying I agree with all of this, but some of the things at play are Congressman from Kentucky, Thomas Massey, has I guess a bill waiting to be voted on right when they come back on releasing the Epstein files and all of that. But people think that they're delaying because of that. They're not. The release of there is no Epstein files. It's a joke. Like that's not why they're shut down. That has nothing to do with any of it. But there's Congress is split right now, and kind of like Blake said, it's a facade. They don't actually disagree on really anything. But yeah, like they're going to have to come to terms and come to an agreement on where to spend some of that money. Like,
right.
When they come back, and it's all just going to wash out and result in the end, probably after a month or so of a shutdown, that, we'll send more and more to various things and increase it greatly. I mean, it's like Blake said, there's not really a disagreement. It's for show. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else that needs to be said.
My wife was talking about the government shutdown last night, and she doesn't get too fired up about all the silly government stuff. But I was telling her how I used to get really fired up about the government stuff, and I used to get really upset about all paying these taxes and all this stuff. And I said, you have to, or you bet you are so much better off when you come to the realization as a Christian that you are just a stranger and an alien. You're just a pilgrim, just passing through this place. You got a job to do while you're here. You got purpose while you're here. But you're just passing right on through this place, man. You're made. You've been made spiritually alive. You are made for a place that is not this place. All right?
You don't belong here.
Yes. So you're just living here. You're just here for just a little while. Very short period of time. As a stranger and an alien. You're not a citizen of this world. You talk about all these taxes and all this. It is what it is, man. The government, all this crap. You're just so much better off when you come to the realization that that's the truth. I said the government shutdown. I brought that up because it is apparently wreaking havoc on air travel. I didn't know that was. I did not know that. I guess the air traffic controllers are somehow are government employees. I thought they were private. I thought that was private industry.
I don't think
I had
they're
no
all.
idea.
I don't think all of them are government employees, but a good many of them are.
I didn't know that.
Well,
That's new to me.
I think after 9/11 and the Patriot Act, that changed a lot.
Yeah.
The government got involved in air traffic control because they wanted to regulate the security better of tracking, all flights
Okay.
in the U.S. airspace. That's my understanding. I could be wrong about that, but I
They
think
wanted more control.
yeah, I mean, I do believe that changed after 2001 because of obviously what happened, right?
Right.
So they said, "Hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
get more involved in that." That's what I think
I
happened.
know on the last shutdown, that was the big thing, was the air traffic controllers too.
I didn't. Yes, I didn't even realize. I must have not. I guess I wasn't. I would have been in the military then, so I wasn't
could've-
flying any commercial air.
Yeah, you could. It wouldn't have affected you, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Anytime I flew in the military, it was always on a military aircraft.
Yeah.
How does the government shutdowns affect the military? Because that's
Just pay. It can they can stop paying you.
okay, but you
But-
just work through it and then you get paid.
But that didn't even happen on we never missed a paycheck even on the last one because that's the thing that's a facade about it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're like we're gonna find a way to pay the military, and they do.
Yeah.
They paid us the whole time. I never missed a paycheck from it.
I know they laid some folks off at the CDC. They hit them pretty hard.
Good.
Yeah, good. A bunch
agree.
of idiots
I agree.
meddling with crap.
I mean, temporarily or for
I'm assuming it was a temporary layoff
Yeah.
until they get fired back up.
Well, it was like it wasn't just my flight. The airport was a nightmare. Going to Atlanta Airport, which is always a nightmare, anyways. Nastiest place. That place is so freaking nasty. It's horrific. How nasty that stinking airport is.
So nasty.
It is a cesspool.
Big time.
So apparently, yeah, the air traffic controllers aren't showing up. So flights are delayed, And also the TSA
Oh yeah.
workers are now short-staffed because some of them, I don't know if they're not showing up or if they're getting laid off or what. First of all, a TSA employee is basically a quarter of a person. One TSA worker would equal
You need 4 of them.
at best 0.25 of a single worker. Seriously. Blake, look, you've seen them. Where do they are harvesting these people out of the daggone Section 8 housing, I guess.
Well, Atlanta is the worst place for. I mean, that's the lowest quality of them.
Yeah, well, that's I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Atlanta specifically because that's the airport that I'm always going in and out of. You need 4 of them to make one human worker.
They really don't even make that because then it's just magnified. It really decreases as they get together. They go down because then none of them do anything because they're expecting the other one to do it.
It's really that bad, dude. These TSA workers are they I think, no crap, they are more dismal human beings than the people who work at the DMV.
Now, I will say there was a condition in our culture at one time that caused them to become 1 human to maybe 1.5, and that was with the mask mandates.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they would get on
They were
that.
sharp. They got right on that.
Yeah, they become full human then.
So what is the scope of their responsibility? That's who checks your bags and checks you, make sure you
They
ain't got a
check you
bomb in your
in.
shoe and all that.
They run you through the security.
You really,
He's never flown.
You
before.
really need to
Cornbread's never
experience
flown
something
before.
in life.
Yeah,
You'd have a lot more understanding of things.
Oh, it's about to change. No, there's about to be mandatory travel quotas here at 307 Project. Because as we get into this story of my trip to Dallas, we're going to see that I'm no longer allowed to travel alone. So there's about to be mandatory travel quotas.
I will drive you anywhere you want to go, bub, and then turn around and drive you all the way back. And big, too. We'll do it big. We'll do it. We'll stop and let you spend as much money as you want to.
Whoa.
Well, I guess we could take that Suburban you bought me.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Where was I at on this? Yeah, that's what the TSA does. That's what they kind of. Yeah, they kind of usher you.
They just pester you is what they do.
Yeah, they pester you.
Oh, you've got a water bottle in your backpack. Go dump it out and go through the line again. Oh, okay. I mean, I see what this is. This is a joke.
Yeah.
I remember a standoff we had with one of them one time, and they stopped
Oh,
me and
yeah.
Chad, and they said, "You guys need to put your masks on." And we said, "We're not putting our masks on." And she says, "Well, you have to." And we said, "Well, we're not going to." And we just had a standoff. She didn't do anything, and we didn't do anything, and we just stood there like, "Well, now what do we?" And then we just went our separate ways. Okay.
That was funny. That was funny. I do remember that. Gosh, some of the me and Chili took some flights when
Dude, early.
real early, back when they would still let
when
you wear a
Chili-
buff.
Back when Chili would travel.
Me and Chili went through the airport with buffs,
That one was early.
and we would pull them up over our that.
we had it all over our face.
Yeah. Yeah, that was real early. Back when you didn't have to have a medical
They
mask.
were just confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Running around there like cockroaches. They didn't even know what to say. People would just eat. Some people would like have a bottle of water, and they would, the whole 3-hour flight, they just hold it right here as if they were drinking.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they didn't have to.
Yep, I remember that.
They would just hold it right there for 3 hours.
remember that.
Nurse a banana for a long
See, I've
time.
already forgotten so much of this. The insanity of it back then.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember we were coming back from the Turning Point speech, and we were sitting in the terminal with John Lovell. And that's what we had a plate. We would buy a plate of like food, like carrots and little cheese and stuff, and we were just sitting there, and over again, these TSAs would come up and say, "Put your mask on," and we'd be like, "Oh, we're eating."
Yeah, that was an exemption.
Yeah, and then Karens that were in the terminal kept telling on us too.
Oh yeah.
And so it became a big to-do. Insane, dude. Wow. Man, that was crazy. So I finally get on my airplane, fly, I land in Dallas 2 a.m.
So there's delays just simply because there's not many people working in air traffic control, and it's just like, oh, we got to shut this down and delay this just for. I mean, there's no problem. It's just.
Was the security lines long?
No, because it was so late.
Oh.
It was so late, yeah. And I used that Turo
Yeah.
for the rental car. That was pretty nice. If
Yeah,
you
I
guys
like
don't
that.
know about that, it's a app that you can rent your car so you don't have to deal with the rental car counter.
Like an Airbnb for
Yeah, it's like an
cars.
Airbnb for cars. I used that for the first time, and actually, that was a pretty good experience. I land in Dallas at 2 a.m. I was flying first class, of course. Right there in the front of the plane. Kick back. Well, I had traveled with a very nice three-piece suit, custom tailored three-piece suit that I was gonna use for my speaking engagement. It was the only clothes I had other than the clothes I was wearing that I was flying in. Well, it's late. I just walk on off the plane. Walk out, and then to get to the Turo car, I had to take a shuttle. There was like a 20-minute ride to some remote parking lot. I get out there, figure out how to get into this car, throw my bag in the car, and I'm like, I thought I had another bag with me. Yep, I did. It was my $2,000 custom tailored suit that I left in the flight attendant closet.
Is your belt and all in there too?
No, I had my belt with me. Thankfully, I had my belt with me. Walked off. Just left it in the flight. So there was a flight attendant on that flight. I believe his name was William. He was a fan of the podcast. Very nice looking, strapping man, strong man. William, if you are hearing this podcast, please tell me how to get that suit back, okay? Just find me on Instagram or go to the website contact form and fill out and just send me a message, please, because I'm missing my suit now. So I was so far from the airport, and now it's 2:30 a.m. I just said, screw it. I'm not taking that shuttle back to that airport. I didn't even know what terminal the plane was in. I didn't pay attention to none of that. I'm just trying to get to the dang hotel so I can lay my head down and go to sleep. I said, screw it. Well, woke up the next morning and had to go clothes shopping because I didn't have any clothes.
I had to.
So I went to the Stockyards in Fort Worth, which is a cool place.
Somewhere where they do it big.
I show up to the Stockyards, and they are doing a reenactment cattle drive down the main street of the Stockyards. And you've got these cowboys on their horses driving this herd of Texas Longhorns down the main street. And I said, this is big. So I immediately found the most expensive clothing store. It was I forget what it's called, but it's fine Western clothing, okay? I go up in there, and there's a young lady working in there. she immediately comes to me and picks out my entire clothing wardrobe for me. I don't even have to think about it. She's saying, yep, this is going to look good on you. This is going to look good. She knows everything about every boot, where it's made, who made it, the history behind the brand. She knows everything about all this stuff. This is the type of service you get when you got money. I don't even have to think, okay? I just walk in this place and I walk out with a brand new pair of cowboy boots. Big money, all right? A brand new entire Western uniform, okay? Minus the hat. I couldn't go that far, okay?
You felt like an imposter if you had the hat on.
Well, this is funny. So I've got this brand new Western uniform.
Uniform. Texas uniform.
Costume.
And I go back. I get suited up. Walk up into this speaking engagement. And there's about 300 guys and women in this speaking engagement. And I realize I bought the right clothes. Because every one of these cats at this speaking engagement, these were the most legit cowboys that you've ever seen. Every one of them had a hat on that you couldn't fit that hat in a garbage can. It was so big around. I mean, it was like this, and you could tell it was their dress hat. You know, they didn't wear their real cow. They have a dress hat and a working hat, I assume.
Field hat.
But every one of them was dressed like me or better. I got up on that stage. They gave me a big introduction and this and that, and I got up on that stage, and the first thing I said was, look here, guys. I got to be honest with y'all. I'm an imposter. I said, you see these brand new boots right here? I did like that. I said, you see these Wranglers? I turned around. I said, I think I got all the stickers off of them. This fine pearl snap Western cut shirt. You said, y'all see that? I said, I got to be honest with y'all. I'm not a cowboy. I'm an imposter. I said, I'm a hillbilly. But I couldn't find a single pair of overalls for sale in the stockyards. And they all got to laughing, and you know, it was just a good opening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was an imposter, but I looked good, man.
Well, you are an imposter on many different cultures. You have those moccasins. You bought those really expensive knee-high, whatever them tall, like moccasin-looking things are, and you're always getting into different types of clothing that you don't ever wear.
I've got Native American in me, Bubba.
And you've got that that old goofy hat, that old goofy wool hat thing that you, and then them suspenders. That's not you.
Oh,
You
remember
don't-
that?
That's practical. That's
you don't
practical
wear it.
attire.
Remember that South American thing he had on his head? That wrap around his
yeah.
head?
Andreas gave
From
me that.
Andres.
Yeah, but you acted like that was because that was, you know, you.
Yeah.
Well, I've
Like-
got some Spanish in me too.
That was grief.
Got done with the speaking engagement, and I went to eat at a place called what's it called, Chili?
Terry Blacks.
Terry Black's. That place was good. And I can't help but I didn't text this because I didn't want it to sound disrespectful, but did y'all see that big old plump piece of sausage on my plate?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen it.
You know who that reminded me of? Cornbread.
Really?
Yeah. That big old plump, juicy,
Where is it?
cheese jalapeno
Where is it?
sausage.
I mean, think about what you're saying here and what you're doing with your hands, bub. You need to draw it down a little bit.
What?
This is a serious podcast.
What in the
What
crap?
is going on?
Look at it. That reminded me of cornbread. Don't that remind you of him?
Especially right here on the end.
What in the world is going on?
If that in what way?
He used to be plump like that.
That's sliced. Sliced.
Yeah, but I saw it
sausage.
before it was sliced.
Yeah. That looks like, it reminds me of cornbread because it looks like something he'd buy at a gas
What'd
station.
that remind you of? Chili?
Oh. Hey, that was some good eating. If you ever want some good brisket, and
Terry
I
Black.
went a little crazy.
Rice, stew, beans, cobbler, onions, brisket,
Pickles, brisket,
sausage.
sausage. I mean, I went a little crazy. That was $76 worth of food.
Did you eat it all?
I ate every bit of it.
Really? That bomb.
Well, you know you didn't get nothing to eat in the airport.
No, you can't eat in them airports,
Jump.
man. You can't eat in them airports. Highly recommend that place. Terry Black's, that was good. And I roll on to the airport, and of course, the flight's delayed again. Now, I want to ask y'all a question. I'm sitting in the airport terminal, and I'm sitting there listening to Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, on my headphones. And all of a sudden, I hear some loud talking through my headphones. Noise-canceling headphones, loud talking. I'm like, what the crap? And I look up, and there's some guy standing in the terminal preaching to everyone, telling them Jesus loves them. They better accept the gospel. Look, one thing he said, look around. Only 5% of y'all are going to go to heaven. And I thought, that's odd. I wonder where he got that percentage. He somehow knew only 5% of people were going to go to heaven.
Yeah, what's that, Jehovah's Witness? They have the certain number.
Well, I don't think this guy was a Jehovah's Witness. I think that he was some sort of evangelist. Telling all these people they better repent and believe and all. I mean, he had a nice little gospel presentation there. He had a nice little exhortation for people to believe the gospel. I mean, minus his 5% story, which again, I don't know where he got that from. But now we think about that and we think, well, that's pretty cool. There's this guy, and he's got the courage to stand up and preach this gospel message to all these people and but then I got to thinking about it. And I thought, you know what, man? Is this really the place to do something like that? Because I want y'all's opinion on this, because he's got an audience that's but these people, but we're all trapped in this terminal. You see what I'm saying? So he's like, well, here I've got these people, and they're
captive audience.
They're trapped in this one spot.
Can't go anywhere.
And I'm gonna stand here and all loud like make a scene, but I'm gonna capitalize on the fact that these people are trapped in one spot, and I'm gonna preach to them. And I thought, I can't, obviously I can't be sure. I want to know how y'all feel about that, but I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure that all he did was piss a bunch of people off. Because I'm not going to lie to you, it kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, you were listening to Dire Straits.
So what do y'all think about that, man?
I mean, it sounds like to me, and which I've never been in a terminal but once in my life, but it sounds like to me that that's not even an area that anybody's willing to receive any type of broad communication from anybody to begin with. I think it would be the same if you was sitting in the doctor's office, or in the surgery waiting room at the hospital. If somebody come in there and started preaching whatever it may be to you, who's going to receive that? Most people, I'm assuming, are listening to headphones or scrolling on their phones, just trying to get to wherever they're going in the airport. So they're not going to receive anything there, I don't believe.
What do you think about it, Blake?
Well, I can't be certain one way or the other, because anywhere that the word of the Lord is preached, it's not where it's at or who said it. It's the power of the Lord that makes it powerful. So I can't say that it's not beneficial. Maybe that was something. I mean, the Bible tells us to go and spread the gospel, but it says to go and make disciples. And I don't know if it's the way I like to do it or the way it should be done, but I view that as like more smaller groups, like people sharing it with people that want to hear it. And some of them aren't believing, some of them are, but that's the way I think it needs to be done, or the way I like to do it. But I can't say that nobody was impacted because of what he did. I don't know. I'm sure 95% of them there was mad about it.
Well, this is why I'm out of dilemmas, because of the point that you're making. I believe in the power of the gospel, and in terms of the power of the gospel going out, and it's spreading seed, and we all know that it's God that makes the seed grow. Could there have been somebody in that terminal who heard that and maybe was pricked in the heart, and maybe will that grow and unto salvation? I believe in the power of the gospel. It's Chili, what do you got to say about this, man?
I mean, I agree with Blake. I mean, my tendency is to just say that's bullcrap. Like it makes me mad. Like, I don't like that. It annoys me. It's not because of the God. It's because if you were doing that about anything, like, that annoys me. Like, don't yell in public. Like, if you're standing on the street, just shouting to the void, you look crazy. I mean, it makes what you're saying seem crazy when you act crazy. So it would annoy me if you tried to do that in public place, like, and it was about anything. And to me, it just delegitimizes what you're saying, because you act like a crazy person shouting at the void. But having said that, I kind of have to watch myself because of all the things Blake said. I mean, I do agree. Like, because that's not how I would do it, or that's not, I just look at it like, if you did that in the same way with any other message, we would look down on it. Like, that dude's, what's he doing? But because it's a message that we agree with and believe is the most important thing to say and talk about, we go, well, maybe that's not bad. It's literally like only the gospel that we would even give somebody a second thought that was doing that. Right? I mean, anything else, even a message that we agreed with that was about
politics
or something, we would be like, oh my gosh, quit, get out of here. He's standing on the street corner saying, everybody needs to be healthy, quit being, I agree with that, but you're crazy, get out of here. It's only when it's the gospel. So, that puts it into a different category, because we're like, not only do I agree with this is very important, and we believe, and we're commanded to preach the gospel, but just because of all the things that I said about how if it was any other message, we would be like, this is not the way to do this. It, in a way, delegitimizes your message. Like, I think that does hold true. You can make an argument that even though it is the gospel, like, this is not the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Jesus' life, he didn't just go stand somewhere and just start. Like, he had a group. And I said when we talked about when I went over to Kenya, we would have public meetings out in the middle of the little town there.
Yeah.
But there would be 6, 8, 10 people there with the intent to listen and learn.
Yeah, I mean.
But we were doing it in a public place. I assume they had strategically done that so that it could be heard by the other people out and about in town. So if the guy had some people there that he was teaching it to, then someone might be like, oh, well, let me listen in on that, and then they're more intrigued by what he's saying, rather, because then it doesn't feel like he's forcing it on you. It feels like you have the choice to come to that, and when someone's just out there shouting, you feel like the pressure's on. Like, this guy's trying to make me do this, and what happens when you try to make a human do something? They don't want to do it.
Well, and he's not. He would have. I guarantee, if you asked him who he was talking to, he would have said everybody.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
That's who you're talking to. Like, I don't I don't really understand why you would share any message to nobody. But that is what he was doing. That's what that is doing. Like, it's not to anybody. It's to the void. Like, it's not to everybody.
Yeah, because if you went and asked everybody in there, is he talking to you? They'd say,
nope.
I don't know that
Because
guy.
he's not talking to you. Like, so I just don't know why we view that as a viable method of communication.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I am hesitant a little bit to down it, even though that's my instinct because of all the things you said. That's well put. Like, it is different because it's the gospel. Like but I can just say from those reasons, I don't think that's the way to do it.
Well, unless you feel, I think unless you are drawn to do something like that, then you should apply your logic and say, that's probably not the right. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that the Lord couldn't use that in some certain way.
I mean, that's the thing. He definitely could.
Yeah.
So
That could be a guy there just having the worst, terrible time of his life, never heard the gospel and said, dang, that really makes sense to me.
yeah,
Probably not, but that could be.
it could. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes it difficult. But the thing that really struck me is Chile referenced preaching the gospel in public places, such as the town square or the street corner or any number of public places. But here's what's different. A street corner is different than an airport terminal. And this is what rubbed me wrong about this, is when you preach the gospel in a public place, it's in a place where people have freedom to come or go.
Yeah.
Whereas in an airport terminal, these people are stuck there because they're waiting for their flight.
captive.
And they are captive. And that is what rubbed me the wrong way about this. And Cornbread's example of the doctor's office. If I walked into the doctor's office down here in Rome and did the same thing to people who are stuck in there because they're waiting for the doctor to call them back to their appointment, I am in disagreement with that. If you are led as an evangelist to preach the gospel, go and preach the gospel in public places. I have no problem with that. But do not go to places where people are being held captive, such as an airport terminal or a doctor's office or something like that, where they can't choose to just walk away or to stay there and listen to you. The same thing you guys were doing overseas during the mission work you were doing. You were preaching the gospel in a public place where people had the freedom to come and go as they chose. If they wanted to listen, they could listen. If they wanted to not listen, they could go somewhere else. They could keep walking.
Yeah.
And I'm actually looking forward to getting into and really dissecting and looking at the book of Acts, because it's going to teach us a lot about evangelism. And where were the apostles making this proclamation of the gospel? Where were they doing that? How were they doing that? Okay? Is there an example of an apostle going to a place where people are held captive and hammering them over the head with this gospel message in an area where they can't leave? Because I can't think of one. When I think when I think of Paul, the Apostle Paul, on Mars Hill, it was a public place where they had that's what people did in that. They had a place where you could stand up and speak and talk. When I think about the day of Pentecost, as the apostles come out and they're filled with the Holy Spirit, they're as far as I remember that narrative, They're just on a public street there, and people that are walking by are captivated by the message. They're not being held captive by the nature of the environment they're in. The people that are walking by are stopping because it is the gospel that's captivating them and keeping them there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is what I'm looking at this guy, and I almost called him over to me to have this exact conversation with him. And again, to talk to him about his whole only 5% of you are going to heaven stuff and all of this. But I didn't. And so, you know, so often Christians, you feel as if you're being compelled to do something. I'm sure that guy, if you was to talk, because he actually said during his whole presentation there that the Lord was speaking through him in that moment for the people who were being held captive in the airport terminal because they were waiting for their flight. So often we're felt compelled to do things, and that's the whole issue with this whole God told me to do this or that. That's the whole issue with this, man. I just think that it needs to stop. Period. Like, okay, if you genuinely feel this call of God to do something, you must carefully search the scriptures and make sure that that whatever that calling is in alignment with the example that you find in the scriptures. Okay? Now, I could be wrong. We might find a place in the book of Acts where the apostles went to the public restroom where people were held captive on the toilet. We may find an example of that, but I can't think of one. And so, but this whole thing of God is speaking to me is only getting worse. I don't know if you guys have seen the leader of the Church of Satan in South Africa is now gaining a lot of traction online. I forget what, he's got some weird name like Rian or something. He was the leader of the Church of Satan. And his testimony is that he was setting up a satanic ritual. And while he was setting up, he essentially, Jesus Christ himself walked into the room. And he saw Jesus. He actually describes Jesus as a man of Middle Eastern descent. You can go listen to his testimony. He describes the way he looked, and he has a conversation with Jesus, and he says, "Who are you?" It's essentially identical to the conversion of Saul on the road to Damascus. But he's gaining a ton of traction online right now, like big time. And I've listened now to 3 podcasts because I was interested in this dude. Like, okay.
Is he now claiming to be a Christian?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus came to him. He talked to Jesus. Jesus flooded him with love. And now he's just sold out for Jesus. Praise the Lord. But when I hear, I'm not saying that his testimony is not true, by the way. I mean, could Jesus reveal himself physically to someone today like he did to Saul on the road to Damascus? I don't know of any scriptures that would say no. Could that have happened? Yeah. But this guy is, he's real big on hearing God's voice. And it's like every other thing he says, it's God spoke to me. God spoke to me. God spoke to me. Listened to a show he was doing the other day, and there was another lady. It was a 3-person podcast. It was the host, him, and another lady. And the other lady was a palm reader, and she's come out of that, and now she's a Christian. And this guy who was the former leader of the Church of Satan is saying, God gave me a message for you. And he's talking to this lady, and he says, I know you're afraid right now, but God gave me this message for you that your husband's, he's going to bless your husband's business. You don't have to worry about that. And also this book that you've been wanting to write a book. And this book that you're gonna write it now, and it's gonna be about this conversion. And this book that you write, it's gonna lead thousands of people to Christ. And she says, you know what, this, and he gives her this message that God gave him for her, and then her response is, well, how can you do that? Because what you just did is exactly what I was doing as a palm reader. It's exactly what I was doing.
What I was thinking.
And he says, well, I know the voice of God because I spend time with God. And so now I know when other things pop into my head, I can tell the difference between the voices of these familiar spirits and this guy that was the leader of the Church of Satan. He was also a soothsayer and a palm reader too for 15 years before he started leading the Church of Satan. He said, now I can know the difference between the voice of these familiar spirits that we used to listen to when we were reading people's future. I know the difference between that, and now I know the voice of God because I spent time with the voice of God. And I'm just thinking, yeah, man, this has got to stop, man. Like, I was really hopeful for this guy because I like listening to him. Like, he does say a lot of good stuff. But this whole God has a... Look, Chili, God gave me a message for you, man. Like,
well, that's an amazing foundation for a great deception. I mean, really, because I'm not saying that it is with this guy because I literally just learned about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think so much we expect deception to just be this outright opposite of the truth,
It would no longer be classified as deception.
I mean, it is going to be so close that it's hard to discern. You know what I mean? Like, the line is going to be very thin there, and that's a great foundation to deceive a lot of people. I mean, if that is what is actually happening, if that's what his intentions are, that's what I was thinking the whole time you're saying it, is he's literally doing the same thing that he was doing before. I mean, you're getting messages from these things, and now you just say that the source is different. Well, I was talking to demons, now I'm talking to God. Yeah. But I'm doing the same thing. And here's the message here, which sounds like the gospel even but it's like, but hold on, what did you say? And like you said, it would no longer be deception. It's not a 180 from the truth. It's a 1 degree to the right or to the left. I mean, that's just, you should be cognizant of that.
And they're also, when you listen to this guy on the podcast, he did a series of episodes with some with some Christian influencer. I think his podcast is called Jesus People or something. But he did a whole series of episodes, and I'll tell you another reason that this is gaining so much traction is they're all about all this fantastical stuff. Like every time they do an episode, they're like, every time we start to talk about this one thing, the computer shuts down. We know what that is. That's an attack. Like every time I have you on, I never have technical difficulties, and then every time you come on, we have technical difficulties. And then you hear them talking about, I was in this place and they were having trouble with the electricity and the power went out. We knew that was, we were there for a speaking engagement. We knew that was an attack from the evil one. Like
they've got some power around.
That's why it's catching so much traction so quickly because of this fantastical stuff and this whole conversation around the spiritual warfare stuff, which I believe spiritual warfare is real, and I believe we have real enemies, and there's a battle being fought. Right?
It's complex.
People fantasize it. They begin to create this reality for themselves. That's some sort of sci-fi reality. That's not the Christian experience. It's much more mundane than that. It's much more deceptive than that. It's not. I mean, give me a break, dude. Like, and so I had high hopes for this dude, but I don't know, man. Like I say, I just I'm listening to this dude. Anytime I hear these big, fantastical, Jesus came to me and I looked in his eyes, and like anytime I hear that, I'm not saying that I'm the one that can say whether that happened or not. All I'm saying is that's a big red flag. Anytime I hear this, God gave me a message for you. I said these words and the light started flickering. I'm just like, could that happen? Yes.
Well, your story was pretty fantastical.
Yep. Could that happen? Yes, I believe that could happen. Is that the norm?
Right.
If something like that happens, it will likely be a once in a lifetime thing, okay?
Same people that have those over and over and over.
Yeah, they just created this narrative in their minds. One of the things that this guy did talk about that I thought was interesting because it's coming up is Halloween, and he obviously you can't dispute his knowledge on the Church of Satan as the leader of that, but he does talk about Halloween and how. He talked about how it is the highest day on their calendar. There's supposedly more human sacrifice on Halloween than around the world than any other day of the year. These people in the Church of Satan, he talks about this too. They are literally sacrificing children by way of abortion. They have doctors that are members of the Church of Satan, and they will perform sacrificial abortions of children during their ceremonies. This is going on.
Oh, yeah.
But he talked about Halloween, man, and it was just wild for me to like hear his perspective on Halloween and then thinking of how much we play with it. Thinking of all of these Christian churches that have like Halloween things in their parking lots and like how much we play with it.
Oh yeah.
And again, that was something that I did get good out of listening to him. It was like, it's rough. Like the whole concept, and then you can look at all this stuff. It's all online. Look at the history of Halloween, and I mean, I don't know. You got kids, Blake.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that can be, I get that we see it as innocent. I get that. Well, I mean, I remember being a kid. You want to dress up and go trick-or-treating and this and that, but I actually heard your kids yesterday because there were Halloween things in the store, and Brooke asked them something about Halloween, and Blakely was like, "No, that's an evil day. We don't mess around with that."
Yeah.
So what have you done about that? Because
seems
and not many years ago, you guys went to a little Halloween thing in a church parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they will still. I mean, we've been like walking around getting candies.
Oh, I hunted that candy when I was a kid.
We've still let them dress up. We might go to a friend's house, and they'll play with other kids and stuff, and they'll all be dressed up. So, I mean, we still have. I guess we still have some association with it to that degree, but we're always talking about like the principle and the root of where it came from and how that's not really what we're out here doing. And any place, a lot. I mean, it's all based in fear. A lot of people are, if they're setting up their houses, it's all like scary stuff. They're trying to jump out and scare you. And so it's really easy for them, I think, to even see that without us telling them that. Like, oh, this is really not a good thing. The Lord hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but these people are trying to scare us. And so that's not good. So we've just been, I don't know that it's really much credit of ours, but we've just been intentional with telling them, like, we're not going to celebrate that day. We can dress up and do something at a friend's house or whatever, but we're not going to be out there participating in the typical Halloween stuff. So
it's funny. This is just kind of a side anecdote real quick, but like you talk about playing with it. There's a trail system close to my house that I like to run at, and every year in October, they like close part of the trail and make it this little like haunted loop,
Is it what do they call that? The Tribulation Trail or whatever?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But
That thing would be rough.
that's not what I'm talking about. But this, it's just a little. I mean, some of it's kind of goofy stuff, and some of it's scary or spooky or whatever. It's mainly for the kids, but I mean, some of it's got fake blood on this and all that, the typical Halloween stuff. And it's so funny, like the other trail systems are open or whatever, that's closed, but you can go by it and see it and all that. And it's amazing, like the darkness that it brings.
Yeah. That's what this guy was talking
to
about.
that area, like just playing with it. But like you just see it and it's like there's a weird, like it literally does bring something to it. I mean, I swear it does. It's like, that's just so odd. Like, I hate when they do that, and I hate the playing. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I don't want to again, we just talked about how we can't get too fantastical with stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
But like, again, hearing this dude who is very steeped in the knowledge of the history of Halloween and how they celebrate it as the Church of Satan. I mean, he's even talking about like, if there are homes in your neighborhood that have these decorations up, like that entire area has been compromised.
You're just trying to invite it. Yeah. I mean, it's.
And, it's so funny to me that I think we would all accept that the Bible calls us to a truly radical way of living. I mean, really, it does. It calls us to a truly radical lifestyle in comparison to the world, is what I'm talking about. In comparison to the world. We know that. But we're not radical enough to not to say no to hosting a gathering on Halloween in a church parking lot. Because we say, well, we're not calling it Halloween. We're actually just giving these kids another option. We're giving them a better option, but you are still everybody that's there knows you're having this candy dress up festival on how everybody knows you're doing it for Halloween. But so you're not you want it. You just won't say no to that? You just won't say no? We are actually going to not acknowledge this high day that is meant to glorify Satan. We're not like we can't say we're gonna do something, but it's not really gonna be Halloween, but we're gonna do it. But you look, you're handing out freaking candy and everybody's got a costume on. Like, seriously, dude, who are you faking? To trying to fool with that crap?
Oh, particularly on Halloween when you do it.
Yeah, I mean, who are you trying to fool?
What do you think, Corn?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have to work the Halloween when I was a police officer in Dallas, and I'm that Main Street right there where y'all know, they would do that booger up.
Yeah.
Big, son. Big. And I can't
Not
say
that big.
No, it was big. They would shut the booger down, and they would be people come from other counties.
You don't know big.
Over there. Yeah, thousands. And but anyhow, I never got the heebie-jeebies. It was like a bunch of kids, man, running around in Transformers uniforms, and every once in a while there'd be a werewolf come by or something like that, you know what I mean? And never really even got the gist that anyone was even thinking anything any different. You know what I mean? And I get, hey, deception this and deception that, and I truly believe it and know that that's true. But to say that there was some evil brought to Dallas that night or some force that shouldn't have been there, I worked that thing for years, man. And the worst thing I ever saw happen, and I get, well, the spirit of fear could have been shown to a little kid, but some Jason get up or whatever and stuff. But the worst thing I ever seen was the fountain got soaked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I agree with Halloween or not, but I don't think no one thinks about, very few people think about Halloween in and of that sense.
But that's the problem.
And I
just
agree.
lulled to sleep everybody.
Who knows the history of Halloween? That's my point exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no one walking up and down that street is not thinking of any of that at all.
But they are willfully ignorant participants.
Yeah. In an event to where they're not seeing any of that stuff happen. So that's why it's not going to stop. It's going to continue. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand it's not going to stop on a national level.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that if you are if you're serious about faith, like if you're serious about Christ, if you're serious about the God of the Bible, if you're serious about being a Christian, there is not 1 millimeter for you to budge on participating in Halloween. There just ain't.
Yeah.
There just ain't.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that it has origins that it has. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's another holiday that the federal government makes because they make holidays at whims, but it was one that was made way back when.
Yeah. Okay, so whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Whose fault is it that the church is not educated on the fact that they are participating in the highest day on the Church of Satan's calendar. They are ignorant, willfully participating in this day. Whose fault is that?
No, I mean, I will say that was, kind of made, I mean, they adopted that day as their highest day.
Yeah,
I will say
if
that.
If you trace the origins back prior to the Church of Satan being established, it's still 100% pagan origins.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Celtic.
Yeah,
it comes from Europe, and it was like rituals, and you do like you pray for dead people, and you get souls that moved around and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's all pagan. I mean, it's crazy.
It is a day for Satan worship.
Yeah.
Whether you call the being that's being worshipped Satan, or you call him an angel of light.
Did the guy you listened to talk about Anton LaVey, the guy who started the Church of Satan?
Very briefly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose fault is it?
The ignorance.
Whose fault is it that the Christian will attend a Halloween gathering, not called a Halloween gathering, in a church parking lot?
It's their own fault.
Whose fault is it that your kid and you are participating in this because you see it as innocent? You don't know the history of it. Whose fault is it?
It's your own fault.
It's the father's fault. That's whose fault it is. It's the man of the house's fault. That's whose dang fault it is. It's your fault as the leader of your family for not educating yourself and taking your faith and your leadership just underneath Christ as the leader of your family. That's whose dang fault it is. It's your fault for compromising with the world. Because that's what you're doing. You are compromising with the world. And these things that are going on at that are integrated into local congregations, that's the daggone pastor's fault. That is a fault of the pastor, and to me that is unacceptable. It is unimaginable for me to be the leader of a congregation and to host a gathering to give kids another option, but it is the exact same thing as Halloween. It is because pastors are willfully ignorant. I just don't know that very many of us even take what's going on. I don't even know that very many of us take our faith that seriously. And you know why I say that? Because I have guys in here, like we had Chris Hewitt on the other day. You look at a guy like Chris Hewitt, and you think, that's a little bit extreme, man. Y'all dress a certain way, not because you think that's going to save you, but because, it's modest, Like y'all, you don't have a lot of money. You're pretty radical. You're not, I guarantee you Chris Hewitt ain't celebrating Halloween. Guarantee you. You think that's right. That's a little over the top, man. Like, come on, man. We all believe in Jesus. We all believe in the gospel. We see people, very few people, that are taking what the scriptures tell us very seriously, and we look at them as weirdos. That's an indicator that there are very few of us that are even taking this seriously. So it's the father's fault. It's the pastor's fault. And look, I'm not a father or a pastor. I'm not saying that if I would have been a father, for the last 10 years, I would be guilty of this. Guarantee you. I would be guilty of this. If I would have been a pastor 5, 6, 7 years ago of a local congregation, I probably would have conceded with having a little festival at the parking lot of my congregation. I get that. I get it, man. What I'm saying is, if you are a father, or you are a pastor, or you are a person in leadership, and you are a Christian, I am exhorting you to repent of what you have been doing and to take this seriously.
What if you did something like that, say in November, and you still dressed up and had candy and had things? Are you against it then? Is it because the day?
That's a tough question, man.
You had a church fall festival in early October. Like, this ain't
Because-
for Halloween, it's for fall.
That's the thing. Are you like there's nothing satanic about the event other than you're doing it around the time that Halloween is. So say you backed it up a month or 2 weeks, then are you okay if you do the exact same thing but you just don't honor that day? And then are you giving more power to that day and more power to Satan by saying, "Oh, we can't do it on that day because that's the day of them,
That's
but
a-
we're
it's
going to do the same thing."
It's a hard
2
question,
weeks
man.
ahead or behind. Or what if you do your fall festival on October 20th and not October 31st?
Well, I don't think avoiding the day is giving the day power necessarily. I mean, I think participating in the day is celebrating the day. I mean, that's kind of the issue.
100% it
You know
is.
what I mean? So, like, by avoiding it, you're not really giving it power. You're saying, I'm not going to celebrate this. Like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with having an event that happened to be in October that happened to be in the fall because you wanted
And
to.
you happen to be dressing up and you happen to be giving away candy.
I'm not saying you do any of that. I'm not saying you
Okay.
just move the same thing to a different day. No,
Yeah,
I'm saying
I
you
mean,
can have a fall
if you want
event.
to have a fall festival at church
That's not
how about
Halloween
you get
based.
together, you
Yeah.
have a meal, you pray together, you have fellowship,
Yeah,
you
that's-
throw some cornhole and play some horseshoes.
That's what I'm saying. This is not a Halloween based
But
thing.
what the costumes and the giving out of candy has nothing to do.
It actually does.
Well,
It
it's-
does.
it's-
Trick or
it's
treat.
very- it's very
it's
tied
all,
in.
The costumes is all integrated into the
Very much so.
spirit of this Halloween celebration. Yes.
Literally, trick or treating started with like the soul thing.
It has a spiritual
It's called like
meaning.
you pray for the day, and like and it morphed into an Americanized version to give out candy, and you instead of asking for a soul, you ask for candy now.
Read the history on it.
And of course, America took advantage of it and made it a profitable holiday. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
you sell all the candy and stuff. But
in the costume.
Yeah.
So do you think kids shouldn't dress up, period? Or is it just for that sake?
Look, man.
I mean, I'm curious.
Look,
I'm
they-
genuinely curious. I'm
Look,
not,
yeah. So, I mean, if you
you just can't deny the ties to
I
it.
would be, yeah. You can't deny the ties to it. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
you
agree.
want,
I see
if
what
you
you're
want to
saying.
ask me this off the top of my head, this is what I'm saying. If you want to have a fall festival, do what I just said. You know, if you're wearing costumes and giving out candy, like. Again, all of those things. Look it all up.
Yeah.
Why do people wear costumes on Halloween? Why do people do trick or treat? Why do they give out? Look it all up. See what it all means.
I'll believe
it goes
you.
beyond Halloween too. If you
Yeah.
want to get into that,
It's just-
Christmas tradition,
Yes.
and all
Oh, yeah.
kinds of
It-
Christmas.
it's mind-boggling. That you're right. It does. It goes beyond Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
I had to stop myself yesterday. I'm walking through the mall. This is how deeply ingrained this is in us as Americans now, Christians. I'm walking through the darn mall. My niece's tooth falls out. She starts crying, saying she's going to throw up, and I've got her tooth in the hand, and I'm trying to make her feel better. I had to stop myself mid-sentence because I started to say, look, here's your tooth. You're going to put this under your... And I stopped myself. You're going to put this under your pillow so that the tooth fairy can come and leave you a present. I stopped myself, praise the Lord. These pagan, ritualistic, it's demon worship. It is demon worship. is so ingrained in us, and we are unwilling to stop it because we are not willing to take our faith serious and to be literal strangers and aliens in this world. We won't do it. Look, by the way, this is not, I'm not saying you're condemned to hell. I am saying you'll be held accountable. I mean, those questions that you're asking, Blake, are questions that should be discussed and debated amongst pastors, amongst deacons, amongst elders. These should be talked about. They should know this history. They should educate their congregations. Men, fathers, you should know this stuff, and you should educate your family and your children because they're going to be exposed to all this crap. Their friends are going to be talking about it. They're going to get invitations. They're going to be exposed to all this crap. I mean, this stuff, well, we just brush it out. We've spent years, just spent our lifetimes just Chili, like you said, you was getting after them trick or treats, boy. I mean, I was too, son. I was getting after that trick or treat, man.
I think, I don't have kids. I can't imagine all the difficulties involved with that. But I think the biggest problem or the biggest difficulty I think it looks like is just your kids hear about it, see it, want to be involved with it innocently, when they're real little, and you're like, well, I don't want to keep them from that or make them, But, like, I just don't feel like from an early age it would be – I'm sure it would be difficult to deal with that, but, like, the actual explanation would be simple. I mean, like kind of Blake laid it out earlier. Like, well, this is what this is and what it represents, and we're not going to be involved with it. Then you'd have to deal with the upset kids and everything. But that is one thing that I don't buy is that the explanation is difficult. I mean, that's pretty simple. Yeah. Now, I don't know what it'd be like to deal with it. Like, that would be difficult. And I'm not trying to act like that's easy. But, I mean, luckily, I think the explanation of being a part of, not a part of those things is actually quite simple. I mean, kids can understand a lot. They may not like it.
You want to research, you want to understand.
But the reasoning is pretty easy. I mean, that is simple.
You want to understand the reasoning behind it? Do a 30-minute search.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll know all you need to know to explain to your kids and your family why this ain't good.
Doesn't make it easy.
Well, it goes far beyond holidays and stuff, too. Like you said, even the way Chris dresses, like, we went and did the Murph. He wouldn't wear shorts. He wore pants. He said, it's
radical,
it's immodest of me. But then, you also have Baptist preachers up there, what I would say, condemning people for having beards and condemning women for wearing pants. And
yeah, man, it's like you go to see the Amish,
Yeah.
How far you take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question is how far do you take? I mean, if you take it to the letter of, then you don't eat pork. Like you go way back, but then you see, well, the new, but there's people, they have some verse, some evidence that men should not have long beards past a certain, they have evidence of that. They have evidence of what they feel is justification of their preaching. You've seen the videos of these most of them are Baptist preachers just railing these people for the way they're dressing in the church, the way that they're dressing out in public, and so.
That's another great question that should be searched out. It should be discussed. We especially for our families, for our congregations, we should establish expectations around those things. I agree, but those are things that have to be searched out in the Scripture, have to be discussed amongst men, and it's still not going to be perfect.
Well, I think those are a lot easier too. Like this around these holidays is a lot easier to understand than those.
Yeah, it's a much longer conversation when we talk about all the different aspects of our lives. But when we're talking about participating in the high day on the Satanic calendar, I mean, good night. That's a good place to start. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Like, let's start there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We talk about clothing. I love what Pastor Paul Washer said about clothing. He said a man's clothing is meant to frame his face. I thought that's a really good way. The whole idea of a suit is designed to frame your face. It doesn't show any lines or provocative aspects of your body. It frames your face, and your face being what all creation looks at man and sees the image of God in man. You know, hey, that's just a starting point when we think about clothing. You know what I mean? But these are all worthwhile conversations. They're worthwhile conversations not so that we can be seen as a self-righteous bunch of people. These are all worthwhile conversations because we should all desire to honor God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit in every aspect of our lives. That should be our utmost desire because He has loved us with such a great and perfect love to the point that He came in the flesh and spilled every ounce of His blood to clear our account. Our desire should be to honor Him to the utmost that we know how to in every aspect of our lives. A good place to start is not participating in the high day on the Church of Satan's calendar in a festival that is rooted in demonic worship and human sacrifice. I mean, good night. Get that down. And then you can start thinking about how you're dressing. That's my 2 cents on it. I hope this podcast didn't sound too self-righteous because it's coming from a place of, for me, a place of conviction. For me, a place of love for the body of Christ, for my brothers and sisters. It's coming from a place of love for our children and bringing them up in radically in the ways of the Lord. And teaching them that that's not weird. That's actually how it's supposed to be. That's not weird. It's not laborious. It's life-giving. It's honoring God. It's fruitful. It is what will bring about the best experience that you could possibly experience in this life. When you're doing it for the purpose of honoring and pleasing your Father in heaven and not for the purpose of looking like a self-righteous bunch of people walking around here pointing your finger at everybody else. You got to get that right. So I want y'all to understand that listen to this podcast. That's all I got for today. We got super chats.
Laid it down, boy.
Good job, bub.
Don't tell me good job.
Dad said we had to hurry up.
Oh.
We had Dano.
Dad, you can take off if you want.
Yeah, we'll shut it down.
We had Dano not in the lion's den.
I remember him.
He's mocking the lion's den.
Yeah, it seems like it.
2:22. We've all been deceived. Christ is the only truth.
Thank you, Dan.
Gave $2.22.
Yeah, we've all been deceived on some level. I'd agree with that.
McLeod plays $4.99. I bet Chad left that Western store looking like Crocodile Dundee. We had Humbled Clay, $1.99. Celebrate Reformation Day instead.
All right, guy.
We had Marty Bingham.
There he is. Where's he been?
Good night.
well, let
Building bridges somewhere.
$10. Greeting citizens, long time no smell. Went to Colorado with Big Mike, a couple Marines, and a school teacher for some vertical ambulation. We DNF'd the crap out of it.
Big Mike, who's that? Michelle Obama?
Then he came in at $5. I blame Colorado. They failed to maintain the air content at 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
Who could have seen that coming? Highly irresponsible. Came back in at $20.
The government shut down, Marty. They would usually be piping oxygen in up there, but they're shut down right now. You went at the wrong time.
The DNF actually did more good than if we had finished. I learned a lot and got humbled, much like Chad's race in Texas, which I would have finished, by the way. He clearly lacks some mental toughness.
He talking about Nick Bear's last instead.
We had Garrick, $4.99, asked, where is Marty? We just got him.
Well, there he is.
We had Blake the Jake, $1.99, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Hey, now.
We had Garrett come in at $20. Hey, Corn, I thought you and I were cool. What's the problem with riding the Porsche? Chad and Chili, you need some new partners to do things big. I'm always ready.
Believe that, son.
Ain't gonna hit no Porsche, Garrett.
We had Chili
Believe that.
Beans come in at $4.99. Chili, time to get yourself a new cap out of the dungeon. You've got some salt deposits and it smells bad.
Chili been wearing that hat for years. He
Long
ain't swapping
time.
that out. Them
Jecker,
hats do last forever.
Yeah.
we had Jeckaret, $1.99. Chad, children, listen to this bub.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff Rhett.
Sounds good, guy.
We had Chad's Potbelly come in at $1.99. William is looking real good lately.
William?
Maybe that's the flight attendant.
I do not know.
He was talking about he was a.
Oh, swole up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cornbread Crumbs is next.
We had Elderly Bovine, $1.99. What's up, guy? Wizard Hermit checking in. Cornbread Crumbs, $4.99. Sola Scriptura has my brain wrinkles writhing about.
Yeah. Told you.
Get it.
Thank you, Cornbread Crumbs.
Get
We
it,
had
guy.
Sooner Guy 44, $3.07.
Boomer.
Fritas gave Double D a shout out last night.
Well, good. Thank you.
Jeckaret,
What does that
$1.99.
even mean?
I guess.
From Ed, and Eddie?
I guess, is it Nick Fritas?
Yeah, I've heard that name.
You're doing that that speaking thing with him, I think.
Who's
Oh,
Double
okay.
D? Oh, he's Double D.
Yeah.
Oh, thought that was from Ed, and Eddie.
Jeckaret, $1.99. Excited to go through Ruth on Monday meetings.
Good night. How many super chats do we have?
This is the last one. Chad's Potbelly, $4.99. Chad's never taken a vacation. On that note, any tips on how to conquer the Cocodona vacation? Running it in 2026. God bless.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
man.
ain't gonna make it, buddy. That's my tip. Don't do it. You ain't gonna make it. Love you guys. Enough said.